Right guys, I'm going to preface this with a lot of stuff before we get into continuing with it. I'm not mechanic, I'm not mechanical, I'm not thick. I can come up with ideas and stuff like that, which there'll be a lot of ideas come up on this when I speak to a couple of people, fabrication friends and stuff like that for fabricating stuff. And we'll go through ideas and stuff and figure out what we're going to do with what I've got to have created for this. I'm like I say, not thick when it comes to things. I can figure things out, but there might be things done wrong, there might be things done right, there might be things done in a way that aren't what other people would do. There might have been stuff bought that other people wouldn't think of or wouldn't do. So yeah, I this is an amateur thing, something a bit different for my channel, because as I'll take you through the story of what I've sort of done, it'll become clear. So yeah, hopefully you'll learn, hopefully you'll like it, hopefully I'll get this thing on the road, contrary to what a lot of people would believe. So about 2014, I bought this as a part done project off of eBay for a very, very good price. When I say very, very good price, I got all the running gear, the engine, a gearbox, that blue one over there, and a load of parts and stuff for 180 quid-ish. And then I had to spend another 300 odd quid on the hire of a flatbed to bring it back to my house where I was at the time. Fast forward to now, with 13 years in the future. For various reasons, I couldn't do it. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the space. Now I've got both. And one thing that I'll take you through that I absolutely despise doing, sort of put it back. But the main thing that put it back was money and space. I decided I wanted to get a motorbike, but then looked at the lessons and getting a motorbike license, and thought, well, what if I get a trike? Don't have to. They changed the rules in 2013. I passed my driving test in 2011. So before 2013, I can't remember what date it is exactly, you can look it up, you had to have you could ride a trike on a car license. In 2013, they changed it so that you had to have a bike license to ride a trike. So as I passed my test before 2013, I thought, well, if I get a trike, I don't have to do another license, I can insure it, and away it goes. And then I decided to get a project, which sometimes you regret things, sometimes you don't. This one, should have got one that ran already and was already on the road, but never mind. I got it cheap. I didn't think I would win it. Friend of mine, while we were doing my garage at the old house, a friend of mine said, I spotted it, and he said, I'll go for a couple of grand, that'd be. So it came up on my eBay as nearly finished on the ad, so I thought, right, I've got 500 quid, sod it, I put 500 quid on it. And I won it. So we went and picked it up from West Midlands a couple of weeks later. So the thing that I despise doing, I will do a lot of things. I will do mechanical stuff. I will do anything, but I hate with a passion prepping and painting. And when I got this trike, I'll put some photos in. The paintwork on the frame was despicable. You lean on it and take your hand away, the paint was flaking off in your hand. The front part was blue, as you'll see on the photos that I put in. The back part was black, I think it was, but it was, it was horrible paint job. So as you can see from my little tin down there, I got myself a tin of Hammerite black, and then I didn't do anything with it for a very long time. And at the beginning of this year, I was off work for a long period of time for a new baby in the family. Well, my new baby. So I decided to take up some time, and I stripped the entire frame down and repainted it in Hammerite. The engine crane not only was for the engine, which I'll show you in a minute, but also came in handy again. I'll insert some photos for lifting the frame up at the front, hence why that little bit's not painted, because that's where the chain was. And there's a dolly on the back, so it's safe. And I lifted the frame up, got underneath it, stripped it, painted it, took off the anti-roll bar and stuff like that. So that I could paint that. That's over here in the corner. I've got some drive shafts that I repainted. They're just leant up against the wall there. And I sent a load of parts off to get powder coated. The brackets for the anti-roll bar and a few other bits and bats I sent off to get powder coated, which I should get back hopefully next week. So yeah, painted it all. I've missed a couple of bits, and a couple of bits need touching up, but other than that I'm quite happy with the finish. The paint is solid, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, so that's that. There's another video that I'll put up with some CAD work I've been doing for the bodywork and extra steel work, because I need to put some extra steel work in it for supporting the bodywork and a few other bits. For example, so I sit there as a straddle seat, same as a motorbike. Obviously my feet land there. The problem with that is there's a big bloody hole there. So according to the MSVA manual, obviously it has to be a safe sort of operation. So extra steel as an example, I've got some round bar that I'm going to put in here to close the gap, but I didn't want to put bodywork on it, because bodywork, putting a flat piece of plate on a round bar would look rubbish, because I've already seen it on other things and I've tried just laying something on top of it and it'd look crap. So I don't really want to put any checker plate, which is what I'm using for the back, on that. So I've bought some somewhere around here. There it is, some 24.5 I think it is, a 24 point something mil round bar. And my fabrication friend, I will be learning how to weld, so that'll be a funny video coming up at some point. We're gonna put stuff in there and close those gaps up, and then obviously on the front here I'm just going to put one bar in from there to there just to close that gap up a little bit more. Other extra steel work, you can see all the angle that I've got there. Some of it's, I've got a 40 by 40 angle to go from here to over there to support the bodywork, and I've got some angle to go down the side here on this side of that member. Same on the other side again to support bodywork. Same on this side, a piece of angle to go here. Sorry, I'm not a videographer as well, so you know, give me a chance. A piece of angle to go on this side as well to again hold the bodywork, support the bodywork, just to make it look nicer. Like I say, it was bought as a part done project, and there was a lot more work than I was led to believe, hence why it's ended up being stuck and doing nothing. And up until recently I didn't have any sort of, I'm going to say spare money, but you know what I mean. I didn't, my allocation of my funds wasn't prioritising this, but now I can, you know, over time I can get parts together and stuff like that. So yeah, engine is out of a 1989 Ford Orion. It's a Ford 1.6 CVH engine. It's been undercover just to protect it as much as I can. And again, I'll put some video pictures up of what it was like before. But I've rebuilt the head, cleaned it up as much as I could, put new valve stem oil seals in it, and cleaned up the head. And I've painted the engine, and yeah, I've got all the parts to rebuild the engine today. At some point, hopefully, my uncle's coming round to help me rebuild the engine, because what he doesn't know about these engines isn't worth knowing. He's a very, very clever man with these things, and I'm worried about getting the timing right. because while I did top dead centre the top pulley, when I took the old belt off and took all the stuff off it, I'm not confident about the bottom one, because the timing marks for the bottom pulley are on the bottom cover on this engine, which I'll show when I put it back together with my uncle. And I didn't have a bottom cover. I've only just recently purchased a bottom cover, because I couldn't find one when I was looking for one at the time, many moons ago. I have since found one and bought one. So I know the timing's, my uncle said to me, the time is dead easy on these things, which is fine, but only if you know what you're doing. And obviously I don't quite know what I'm doing with the timing on these things. So yeah, as you can see, so 1.6 up in the top right hand corner, left hand corner there, sorry. I've got a carburettor. There's a few boxes over there at the back there with all my stuff in. You can see my petrol tank on top, which is another video in itself when I've figured out what I'm going to do with it, because of certain parts not being available and stuff like that. So yeah, so the gearbox is a 3-speed FLC ATX gearbox, very rare. I got the blue one with the trike, as I said, 2 months-ish later, because I was worried about how it operates and whether it would work. 2-ish months later, I bought that one off of eBay, along with a couple of the parts that the guy had off the car. 2 more drive shafts, which are sat on my desk at the back there. I don't know if you can see it with yellow on, but they're sat on my desk at the back there, which I'm not going to use, but they're going to be spared. And the torque converter cover plate, which is rare again. I didn't have that, and I would have had to have had my fabrication friend make me a new one. I'm not saying names at the moment, just in case they don't want me to. I'll speak to them about it and make sure they're happy for me to do it if they are, because you'll probably see me and them on video quite a bit. You know, nobody wants to look at my ugly mug, but there we go. So that was 2 months later-ish after I bought the whole thing with that gearbox, and then I didn't see another one for sale until last year, I think it was, where my father-in-law spotted one on Facebook Marketplace and shared it with me, and I went through and had a look and thought, right, well, I'll buy another one, because the hen's teeth. So if there's something wrong with, well, there's something wrong with the blue one. I've taken it apart and I can't get the bugger back together again. If there's something wrong with that one, I've got another one down there. I am going to put that one in it and try that one before I decide to put that one in. I was looking into getting the gearboxes refurbed, but so I spoke to a company, I can't remember what company it was, I'm going to have to find them again because it was a while ago, and said, look, I've got this gearbox, I need it refurbishing, how much? And they said 1,200 quid minimum, and that was 2 or 3 years ago, so it's probably more now because the world's gone to shit. So I said, right, well, I've got 2 others. I've got that one and that one. And said, can you make me one working one out of all 3? They said, yeah, but I can't tell you how much it's going to be because I don't know what I've got to fabricate, what I've got to have made in a shop, what I've got to do. And then my uncle said, well, why don't you just put it in and try it and see what it does? Which is a more sensible option when you're facing 1,200 quid to refurbish a gearbox. Said, yeah, that's fine, okay, we'll do that. And he said, but we're going to have to figure out how to stop all the hydraulic fluid from flicking out of the gearbox when we start the engine. We're just going to have to plug the holes somehow. I said, right, well, I've got a load of old CV joints. I've got my 2 drive shafts over there, which have got both ends. And I have my 2 other drive shafts. As you can see, the CV joints are on the floor there because I painted the drive shafts. So I said, well, why don't we just take the old inner CV joints, pop them in properly, and they'll be fine. And we won't lose any gearbox oil, which I've just bought 2 new tubs of at a cost of best part of 60 quid. and we can see what the drive shafts, see what the CV joints do to make sure we know what position the gear selector's in, because obviously I don't have anything for that, apart from the actual gear selector hung on the wall there. But we can figure out what position they're in, make sure it works in all positions, and then it's done then. He said, yeah, no, fair enough, we'll do that then. So that's a future thing. As you can see, my inlet manifold sat on top there. Yeah, so look, I've got a lot of stuff. I've got stuff I can be doing. My forks and my front end are over there next to my desk on my desk. They need rebuilding, which a friend of mine's going to do. Just not yet because there's no point. My wheels are over there behind that bike, so I'm going to get them reconditioned and put on it when I get to that point. What else is there? Yeah, that's about it, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and remember best I can to video every step that I do. It was suggested to me by a friend from work. I was talking to him about it Friday gone. Why don't you video it, he said. Because I was just talking through it with him, and he said, you're so passionate about it. And I've had a lot of friends here. Every time I speak to them about things and ring them up, and like, have you scrapped that trike yet? Scrap it, you're never going to get it done. And I want to prove them wrong and pull up to their house on it one day. So yeah, I mean, I know it's all in banter and all of that, it's fair enough, but still, you know, it starts wearing you down sometimes. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through some not specialist tools, but some tools that you wouldn't usually have to do that I figured out I need to do this, and try and recommend a few things, and when I come to use these tools, figure out whether they're good enough and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'm going to take you through some of those tools shortly. I've got them all out, and then hopefully rebuild the engine today, and get it to a position where I can start looking at possibly dropping it back in the trike and starting it up. Any comments, anything like that, put down, it's fine. I'm easy either way. Just I hope that it's maybe educational, and I hope you learn as I learn, because there's a lot of things I've had to learn and things I will learn while building this. Alright, speak to you in a bit.